Welcome to the show, guys. Happy Monday. Got an exciting episode here for you. We are talking about 7 players that can supercharge your fantasy football team. We're talking massive upside. And these players, I've got a ton of stock in my leagues for fantasy football 2024. 7 players, guys, with massive upside that are absolute league winners. You must draft these players. Excited to dive in. Before we get into the show is brought to you by what else? The Fantasy Football 16-round draft solution. Grab the 16-round draft solution right now. Secure the solution, secure the championship. I know a lot of people are drafting this upcoming weekend. This is the biggest draft weekend. If you don't draft with the solution, you are missing out. I've updated the notes. I've updated the cheat sheets. You get full mock drafts, everything on a silver platter. Grab 16 rounds and smash your leagues, period. You're going to have a backup plan for a backup plan and an ironclad roster. Grab 16 rounds right now. Also, hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, slap it, guys. A lion mentality here. There's the lion, and we're going to get to it right now. We are talking about 7 players with league-winning upside. Let's get to it. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I know a lot of people drafted this past weekend, but I want to tell you guys that we go year-round, and yes, a lot of people still have to draft. I understand that. But content's going to be coming to you daily because you got to get in on the in-season stuff. The in-season stuff is going to help you. I got to do waiver wire show here. We got starts and sits episode. We got full NFL preview matchup shows here. We got DFS. Tons of cool stuff on this channel. So if you have not hit the thumbs up and turned on the bell, hit the subscribe button. Do it right now. I looked at the analytics. 70% of people that watch these videos haven't actually hit subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, guys. What are you waiting for? The only channel giving you the truth to fantasy football, NFL news, everything else, breaking as it comes. Here, NFL news, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all right? I'm ready to dive into these 7 players here. Again, we get to the breaking news, Breaking Brad. There isn't too much in the news at the time of this recording, but I do want to talk about a couple quick things here with Breaking Brad. Where are you, Breaking Brad?
We now have breaking news.
Couple quick things here, guys. Ja'Marr Chase did practice yesterday on Sunday. That's good as he seeks a new contract. Now, typically, I got him recommended as a 60 round just based on ceiling, based on Joe Burrow finally getting his stuff together. But again, I don't have any stock in him. And you say, well, Joe, why do you recommend him? In the 16-round draft solution, guys, I make a ton of recommendations that I narrow it down to the optimal players. Then it's up to you guys to make an executive decision to say, oh, I want that guy and I don't want that guy, right? I can't just have like all just the players I like, just, exactly how I would draft them. You guys got to have options because you guys have to make your own decisions, but I do narrow it down. Like last year, round 1, I told you Eckler and Pollard would bust. It is what it is. They busted, right? Round 5 last year, everyone telling you Dalvin Cook, right? Round 2, T. Higgins. I omitted a ton of guys and I gave you guys the optimal players. It's up to you guys to make the executive final decision. But anyway, Ja'Marr Chase, tons of ceiling this year. Is practicing. Also, CeeDee Lamb, his representatives were talking over the weekend about a possible contract extension. Maybe at the time of this recording, maybe news broke about a contract. Okay, because I recorded this the night before. You guys are getting it at 7 a.m., so you guys get this at 7 a.m. So CeeDee Lamb, Ja'Marr Chase, there's question marks. So that's why I like, Ferguson so much because CeeDee Lamb is not confirmed. They got to pay CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it's like the most expensive franchise out there. They've got money. It's like, I don't know why they're not paying CeeDee Lamb, why they're like making this linger. So a couple other things. Again, what bothered me, I don't know if you guys watched the preseason. What bothers me is we didn't see many starters. That's what bothers me. Kyler Murray, like out of all people should be on the field. He didn't play, right? I don't think Jaden Daniels played. Like there's just so many guys. I'm looking here when I pull it up. Didn't play. Zach Wilson had himself a great game there in Denver. What do you have? 251 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, rushing touchdown. Like the guy crushed it. I'm like, okay, now you're doing something. And then you look at the Arizona Cardinals. They're playing Clayton Tune or whatever his name is. Why are you like, this is the type of stuff that really gets under my nerves. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. It honestly upsets me because at the end of the day, these guys need their reps. And I remember, as far as I can remember, that usually, now Driscoll played for the Commanders. Why didn't Daniels play? Oh, we've seen enough of him. He's the starter. No, it's like, let them get their reps, dude. Like, let them get out there. And again, like as far as I remember, as you get closer to the season, typically weeks, the third week of preseason or fourth week when they had 4 weeks, you would always see the full starters play a lot, like pretty much the first half. Now you're not even seeing them play, which is ridiculous. I think it's so soft, man. We saw some Will Levis. He looked good. Calvin Ridley catching some balls. Again, we'll talk about this in a bit as we get to some of these players here, but I just want to talk a couple things in the news there. Also in the news here, I want to make a note here for in-season stuff. I know a lot of people already drafted. If you want to keep it going, because the draft is a big part of it, but you got to continue on with waiver wire starts and sits and direct access to me, right? During the season, I do a Q&A post for the captains in the Fantasy Front Lines group. So join the Fantasy Front Lines, patreon.com/FF Counselor. Join the community right now for in-season. It's just an amazing community to be in all year round as well. Exclusive videos as well. Waiver wire, starts and sits, direct access Q&A. It's amazing. That's the only place you get direct access to me. Or you can just, if you need it to draft, there's a direct phone call you can make. But for the in-season, this is the place here, okay? And so I do some preseason stuff as well with draft advice in there as well, okay? Q&A. All right, so let's get to it here. All right, so let's talk about the first player here. It's got to be Josh Allen. We're talking like league-winning upside. Now, I'm not holding back here, guys. I'm not pulling any punches. If you're a regular to this channel, you know, and if you got 16 rounds, you know these players. But I got to talk about why. I got to reinforce my convictions to you guys, because I absolutely love these guys. So the first one is Josh Allen. I got a quick stat here on the screen. He's currently QB number 1. Last year, over 4,000 yards, 4,306, 29 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. And listen, this guy, and 15 rushing touchdowns. This guy is going to crush it this year, okay? Typically, I looked at his stats. He's typically a 35, 36 touchdown kind of guy, 12 to 14 interceptions. He was a little bit low on the touchdowns last year, and he was a little high on the interceptions. That being said, the 15 rushing touchdowns, which I've got listed here on the screen, the 15 rushing touchdowns was a little high and inflated as well. Typically a 7-8 touchdown kind of guy. So where he lacked in the passing touchdowns, he was 7-8 touchdowns short of that where he typically is. He made up in rushing touchdowns. So I think it's going to balance out a little bit more. We're going to get a little more passing touchdowns this year, and maybe a slight regression in regards to the rushing touchdowns. They've added, Ray Davis there. I'm not really sold on James Cook. Only 2 rushing touchdowns last year for Cook. And Frank Gore Jr., believe it or not, did really, really well in preseason. I don't know how many yards. I think he had like 100 yards or something crazy. He had a rushing touchdown. Frank Gore Jr. is probably, if not the best running back on this offense, but he was signed in the 7th round. And I don't know, maybe if they don't sign him on to the team, other teams could use him. The Bengals need a true RB1. The Cowboys need a true running back 1. I think the Vikings don't have a true running back 1. I'm not sold on Aaron Jones. A ton of teams don't have a good running back 1. So maybe, Frank Gore Jr., who's at our Fantasy Sports Summit, could be solid, okay? I got to actually release a clip of him at the summit, maybe do an episode and add that clip with him there. And he was really high on Josh Allen, the Keon Coleman connection, okay? So, again, I like anchoring my team with that ace quarterback, which is Josh Allen. I feel safer with him than I do with, a Hurts or Mahomes. Mahomes, again, his regression last year kind of concerned me. Hurts could be solid. He's doing really well in camp. But Josh Allen has been that safe staple that you want to anchor your team with. And here's the thing, when we're talking fantasy football draft strategy, I don't mind going Allen rounds 3 to 4 simply because, and we're talking 1 quarterback league, PPR, 12 person. I don't mind doing that because the wide receivers that are coming off in that category, the Nico Collins, DJ Moores, DK Metcalfs, let them take those guys. Even some suspect running backs or mediocre running backs like James Cook, round 4. I'm more comfortable going with my ace quarterback and getting quarterback done out of the way, okay? So Josh Allen, we're talking league winning, explosive upside, boom type potential, guy that's going to anchor your team and give you a ton of points. You got to go, don't look no further than Josh Allen, okay? Let's stick on the quarterback train real quickly here. If you miss out on Josh Allen, there's only a handful of quarterbacks that I like that are staples. Now, the next guy I want to talk about here is Jordan Love, who's sitting as QB 10 right now, okay? Finished really well last year. I think he was a top 5 QB. 4,149 yards last year. This guy was better in pretty much all metrics ahead of, guys. I always compare him to CJ Stroud because CJ Stroud is coming off ahead of this guy. 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and I believe Stroud had like 23 touchdowns, okay? So more touchdowns, more volume, 80 some odd more passing attempts than a guy like CJ Stroud coming off earlier. Jordan Love takes a step up this year. He has got tons of upside. I'm telling you, like, he is that staple. If you miss out on Allen, if you miss out on Mahomes, if you miss out on, Hurts, right? If you miss out on these guys, I don't see Jordan Love being a bad option as your ace quarterback. That being said, I still back up my quarterbacks, right? If I have Allen, I get a backup later. If I get Love, I get a backup later. There's a ton of good backups. I lay this out in 16 rounds, how you have to have a backup plan for a backup plan, belt and suspenders, right? So, but Jordan Love has that massive upside. Again, had a good year last year, top 5 potential, right? That can only get better. His rapport is better with Romeo Doubs, who's the wide receiver 1. Now, again, I did another $350 buy-in league this last weekend, and Jaden Reed is still coming off ahead of Romeo Doubs. I'm like, dude, this is great. So I'm getting Romeo Doubs in leagues. I'm getting all this value. And I'm telling you, like, Jordan Love has that massive upside. Why would you say massive upside? Just safe 25 points a week, top 5, top 10 potential finish, and a guy that can be really stable on your team if you miss out on some of the elite tier 1 quarterbacks, okay? Love him. Love the upside. Can only do better than last year. 32 touchdowns, I could see him throwing 35 to 40. I don't see that out of the possibility here. And he's going to rush in a few as well, okay? So Jordan Love, massive upside, okay? Now, again, you guys hear me talk about these players if you guys are regular to the show. But again, I'm reinforcing. This is where the tire meets the road. I'm not holding back this episode, okay? So I'm really, really diving in to some of the people that I absolutely love, okay? Third player here, and you're going to want to wait till the last guy here. He's got a massive ceiling. I'm going to explain why, okay? The 7th player. Number 3 here, we got Zamir White. Now, I've been making some jokes here. I'm saying, I had this joke. I had Rashid Shaheed on the show. He was at the Fantasy Sports Summit. I made a joke. I said, if you want the speed and the fantasy football lead, draft Rashid Shaheed, right? It was a stupid joke. Anyway, I had another one. Don't be a donkey, draft Lad McConkey. Well, I got one for the next guy. Our number 3 guy here who's got massive upside, league-winning upside, is Zamir White. You'll shed a bunch of tears if you don't draft Zamirs. There's my joke. Let me know what you guys think of the joke or they should stop. Let me know. So, Zamir White, RB24. Last year, let me give you guys some context. I have the stat right here if you guys are watching on the screen. 397 yards, 84 rushing attempts in the last 4 games. 2 of those games which were over 100 yards. So we're looking at a guy that's tried, tested, and true. Near the end of the season, he's been battle tested. Jacobs is gone. They didn't draft anybody else. They believe in Zamir White, and his name is Zeus. Listen, he's in a great opportunity. Madison's there. They drafted it. Again, they said didn't draft anybody. That Danny Woodhead looking guy doesn't look like him, but Dylan Lube, the guy that kind of acts like he's like a Danny Woodhead scat back or whatever. I'm not concerned. They don't have anybody there. They didn't bring a guy in that's going to basically steal the job away from Zamir White. Now, there is lingering free agents at the time of this recording. Hopefully they don't acquire a Dalvin Cook or something. But again, the situation is primed. He is a guy, and most of these guys I have in all my leagues, but this is a guy I get round 5. And I'm getting a true RB1 with top 10 upside. That's what we're talking about here with Zamir White. So don't shed a tear, draft Zamir. Or if you don't draft Zamir, you're going to shed a tear. You guys get the joke. Listen, opportunity, volume, everything is primed for Zamir White to have a massive season. Just draft him. Now, he is the RB3 on all my rosters because I tend to go a little RB heavy in the first 3 rounds. I make sure I get 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds simply because there's a massive fall off where you get into questionable situations like Zamir where he could absolutely boom or it could be mediocre. We don't know. But based on what I saw in the last 4 games, he was out-rushing everybody in attempts, volume, everything. Draft Zamir, okay, as your RB3. I'm in on him. He's just a guy that I'm just riding this year, okay? If it doesn't work out, I'm okay with that as my RB3, but I will be upset because I got a lot invested. He's in all my leagues. I just can't pass up on the value. Round 5, RB1, 0 competition in a league where everybody's got competition. Like even Breece Hall is not safe. Braylon Allen's a beast, right? They're saying Algier is going to get work over Bijan. You got, Jahmyr Gibbs coming off round 1. and he's got David Montgomery. Well, Zamir's in the best situation. Zamir White, no competition. Madison sucked last year, and he sucked as a backup. Like, I don't know what to tell you. He was a backup for years. They made him a starter. He had like 0 touchdowns, averaged 3.45 yards per carry, whatever he did. You know, there's no competition for Zamir White. Draft him, league-winning upside, okay? All right, the next somebody got, I have 4 more here. Before I get into that, guys, head on over to the sponsor of the show, mybookie.ag. This is the site that I play on. Now, they got a pool going, a survivor pool, NFL survivor pool. You guys can jump in on this if you guys know football. Mybookie.ag. The code you want to use, FFC, for all the pokes. For all the perks. Remember when Facebook had pokes? They're like, you could poke somebody on Facebook. Where am I? I'm thinking way back when. That's like, man, a long time ago. You guys probably aren't even old enough to remember that. But some of you guys are, you know. But anyway, mybookie.ag. The code you want to use is FFC, up to $1,000 in welcome bonuses, guys. Head on over there right now. I'm telling you guys, this is a site I use, this is a site I believe in. This is a site I'm on. Football's back. Get in on the spreads. Get in on the action right now. Enhance your game watching experience and get in on the survivor pool right now. Go create an account, mybookie.ag. The code you want to use is FFC. Dive in right now. Go create an account. I'll wait. Okay, let's continue on, okay? But seriously, do that, or pause the video, or just make a note to do that. MyBookieAG FFC. All right, let's move on to the 4th guy here. Absolutely love him. Okay, now you guys know I love this guy. I'm not going to hold back on this. I literally am not. It's Keon Coleman. So let's reinforce what I've been talking about here with this guy, okay? Wide receiver 50. For Josh Allen's wide receiver 1. Oh, Curtis Samuel. Listen, I'm done with the Curtis Samuel garbage. I actually looked up Curtis Samuel's stats. The guy sucks. He was drafted, I think, in the 2017 was the year. Again, I'm going off the top of my head because I looked it up. 2017, he was a 2nd-round pick, sucked for years, played a little bit on Carolina. His best year was like 851 receiving yards. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go look it up. Again, I'm a statistician now. I look up all these stats. The guy sucks, man. The guy absolutely sucks. He's not good. He hasn't even had a 900-yard receiving season in how many years he's been in the league? 8, 9 years? He's been in this since 2017, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. He's 8 years. He's in his 8th or 9th season. The guy sucks. And they got Khalil Shakir. He's, you know, I'm not excited about him either. Keon Coleman is an athletic gem. Okay. And the biggest knock I hear is what all these critics say, oh, he doesn't get separation. Dude, when you got an accurate quarterback who was 5th in passing attempts and Josh Allen throwing the ball, and you've got amazing elite athletic talent, and you got 200, read the comment below here, read it below, 240 freed up targets between 2 receivers that are no longer there. There is no Diggs. There is no Davis. Gabe Davis had 81 targets and 200 or 162 Diggs last year. They're gone. And then you've got Keon Coleman coming off round 8 to 9. Okay, this is crazy. And what's amazing about this year, I was talking to Jim about this, the ADPs haven't really moved. Usually there's a big shift in ADPs, right? But because there was so much limited preseason action, we didn't see these guys on the field too much, right? So that's a good thing if you're drafting. So you can still get a discount on a lot of great players like Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, right? Who are the wide receiver ones on their team. While everybody else is playing wide receiver roulette in those early rounds, you are stacking up on these wide receiver ones for value. Keon Coleman, league-winning upside, massive ceiling, massive talent. Again, I've talked to his teammates. I've talked to Frank Gore Jr. I've talked to Trey Benson. These guys are not kidding, man, when they're saying this guy is really, really good. So opportunity, talent, youth, everything is leading to a good year for Keon Coleman. I'm 100% in. And the crazy thing is the sheep are going to be riding him next year. That's the crazy thing. Okay? So you're going to see. All right. 3 more guys here. Next one is Jake Ferguson, who is tight end number 9. Last year, 102 targets, 761 yards, 5 touchdowns. This is going to go up. He's going to get better this year. The rapport is better. He becomes a better player. And if you watch his highlight reels, looks really, really good. He's got a nose for the end zone. He's going to get more work this year. There's no wide receiver too. Like, it's Cook, and he's always banged up. It's a disaster at wide receiver. He is a primary target for Dak Prescott. And I'm telling you guys right now, they don't have a pass catching back. Their running back room is a disaster. okay? They don't have a pass catching back. He's going to get some short passes. He's going to be an outlet for Dak. He's going to see a major uptick in production. I see Jake Ferguson finishing as the top tight end in fantasy football this year, and you don't have to pay a second-round pick like you do with Laporta, or a third-round pick like you do with Kelsey, or a fourth-round pick or whatever for Pitts or some of these guys. You get him a little bit later, round 5, 6 turn, you might get him. Some of these are tight end premium. I saw him come off in my league, in that $350 buy-in league this weekend. I think he came off round 5. Anyways, that's the only league I missed out on him because I was trying something different. I wanted to fade Ferguson for one league and then go with 3 sleepers. I stashed 3 of my upside sleepers. I'm going to run with them, and I beefed up my wide receivers. I tried something different on my last draft this weekend. It was really interesting, but I got a lot of Ferguson stock, tons of ceiling, tons of anchoring of your tight end position here. I love Ferguson. Draft him, okay? Next guy here, and the last one, like I said, is going to be a good one. Massive ceiling potential. And the last year I'm going to be drafting that guy. We'll talk about him in a second. But Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 36, watched some preseason action, caught a ball, looks dynamic, looks explosive. And again, I think it was the Saints that blew the coverage completely when the Titans were playing the Saints in week 3 preseason. But Ridley looked good. Levis looked pretty sharp as well. Listen, Ridley's the wide receiver 1. Hopkins is old. Someone's got to catch the ball. Ridley's sitting at wide receiver 36, finished 18th last year, which is weird that the sheep didn't copy and paste him. I guess they don't believe in Will Levis. 136 targets last year. Again, finishing 18th. He's going to have a good season. I believe Levis is in a make or break season. He's going to be good. He's going to be efficient enough to get the ball to him, improved team from last year. 132 targets, 8 touchdowns, just over 1,000 yards, 1,016 for Ridley last year. I think he takes a step up this year in a big record year for him. With the Titans, they definitely step it up. They get stuff done this year. It's going to be a bit of a committee there at running back with Pollard and Spears. Let the best man win there. It's going to be interesting. I think Spears is the better of the 2 backs, way better. So we're going to have to see how this all fizzles out. Titans are just a value all over. When you're looking at Will Levis as a backup quarterback with upside, when you're looking at Ridley even as getting a wide receiver 1, round 5 to 7 type value, you're getting Ridley, and he's got that massive upside league winning, ceiling. And again, you're not paying a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick on a guy where you're like, okay, Nico Collins round 2 to 3, where you don't know if he's the one. Like, he's most likely going to be the 3, and you're spending early draft capital on the wide receiving guessing game, which I'm not doing, okay? So Ridley, massive upside, all right? The last guy here, again, make sure you guys do grab that 16-round draft solution, guys. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players draft each round. Do not draft without this. It's like handing you the championship on a silver platter. Go grab 16 rounds right now and smash a thumbs up, all right? Go do it. I've linked it below. Last guy here, okay? Derrick Henry. All right, now I know it's not an exciting pick, but I want to talk about this real quickly. Gus Bus, years to wow us, we're not wowed. Last year had 13 rushing touchdowns, over 800 yards. He's on an explosive offense, is Derrick Henry. The team is going to do well. I mean, this guy is looking to win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now, these guys want to win the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson wants to win the Super Bowl. He's already stated it. Sky is the limit for Derrick Henry, where Gus Bus had 13 touchdowns last year. Barring any injury, if a healthy Henry is going to get 20 touchdowns. This is going to be the last year I'm in on Derrick Henry, age 30 running back, but he's special talent. He's elite talent. There's no competition there. He had 280 attempts last year with the Titans. He's only going to do well. Now, again, I'm not one to draft and now it seems like every quarterback is a rushing quarterback, but I'm not one to draft a running back that's got a major rushing quarterback or a running back that's in a situation where the quarterback puts up top 10 type running back rushing numbers, and he's a quarterback, and that's what Lamar does. But again, you're not contending with a committee, which every other running back is in that situation, whereas Derrick Henry's in a prime position to absolutely crush it, okay? Massive ceiling this year, and the last year I'm in on Henry, so go ahead and draft him, round 2 ADP typical. Make the move on Derrick Henry. Massive league winning upside. Go get Henry, all right? So, guys, we're talking high ceiling. Henry, Ridley, Ferguson, Coleman, Zamir White, Jordan Love, Josh Allen. All great options, guys, for fantasy football 2024. League winning upside. Supercharge your team to by putting these guys on your rosters, guys. Massive opportunity and volume and fantasy points ahead of you, okay? Hit the thumbs up, guys. Go grab 16 rounds. Hope you have an outstanding Monday, guys. Go enjoy your day. If you're drafting this weekend, man, oh man, good luck. You guys know, to turn on the bell here. I'm going to keep the news coming for you. We go year round, okay? So make sure you guys are glued to the channel for everything fantasy football and NFL news. We'll talk soon, guys. Enjoy your Monday. Hope you guys have a good day. I'm out.